This is the iPhone 15 Pro, and here's why it's one of, if not the best phone you can get today in late 2024. And that's actually counting the new 16 Pro that came out recently. There's not that many differences between these two models. The latest two iPhones both have that new titanium frame, they both have USB-C 3.0 for fast data transfers, ProRes, ProRAW, and even log recording with Apple ProRes, ProMotion display, always on display. They both run iOS 18 perfectly, and in just a few weeks, when Apple Intelligence finally gets released, it's gonna be available on the 15 Pro as well. And they're so similar, in fact, that if I held a 16 Pro in my hand right now, you wouldn't actually be able to tell the difference, at least looking at it from the back. Where they do differ is that on the 16 Pro, they shrunk the bezels of the screen even more. The bezels on the 15 Pro are already pretty thin, but the 16 Pro takes that to the next level. And it really looks as close to a bezel-less display as possible without curving it, of course. And the display size did jump from 6.1 to 6.3 inches on the 16 Pro. So the displays are technically different, but it's not really noticeable. They even both have the same pixel density. Now, if you can't live without the additional 0.2 inches, well, in that particular case, feel free to chuck the 15 Pro into a wall because it's just trash. Oh, and of course, how can I forget about the action button? The action button is, well, actually wait, they both have that as well? Okay, but let's get serious for a second. Give me a close-up, Zach. There's no one there. Aside from those display differences, there's a few additional features that the 15 Pro lacks compared to the 16 Pro. First of all, the camera control button is a brand new button across the 16 lineup. So regular 16, 16 Plus, Pro and Pro Max both get this new button to control your camera. I still didn't get a chance to test it out personally, but from what I've heard on Twitters, it is kind of janky and a lot of people have been complaining about just it not being very easy to use. Even after using it for some time, people still haven't been able to get used to it. The placement of the button itself is not great. And even if that wasn't the case, it might not be actually, they might fix it with a software update. You can do all of these things that the camera button does just within the camera app, like we all have been doing for years. Dragging your finger across the side of your phone to zoom in, half tapping and then double tapping just to zoom in when taking a photo, and you can just actually, like, I'm gonna show you just like a huge top secret trick. Come here and just do this, and it just zooms in and out. You get my point, right? It doesn't actually bring anything new to the phone. There's not a thing you can do with this button that you couldn't do before. You can just do it a bit differently. Now, I should be getting the regular iPhone 16 really soon, and I'm gonna review the out of it. We're gonna test the button, new camera features, and everything else. But in the meantime, the camera also got some upgrades, and these ones are a bit more substantial. The ultra-wide went from 12 to 48 megapixels, and it is a noticeable difference. And the telephoto switched from a 3x to a 5x optical zoom. So that might be a deal breaker for you, but the cameras on the 15 Pro are still absolutely amazing. Like I said, they support all the Pro formats, ProRes and ProRAW. You can shoot log with them. You can use an external SSD to shoot directly on it with a USB-C cable to save up on storage. All of these most important features are there. Cinematic mode, action mode, everything is still available on the 15 Pro. Oh, and pro tip, if you want to shoot in log but don't want to shoot in ProRes because that uses up a whole lot of memory, you can actually get a third-party app like the Blackmagic camera app, for example, where you can shoot in Apple log but not ProRes, and that doesn't eat up that much storage. So if you're into those Pro formats, that's actually a good thing to take a look at. But again, available on both phones. If you really like the ultra-wide lens and you use it a lot, you will see a difference in quality. And if you need that 5x telephoto zoom, then that might make a difference for you. By the way, that 5x telephoto is actually available on the 15 Pro Max, so you can actually get that phone and still get the 5x zoom. The 15 Pro camera is still one of the best ones out there. And lastly, even though Apple markets both the 15 Pro and the 16 Pro as like a whole day battery life, and it's supposed to get you about 50% charge in 30 minutes. People have been testing them out, and the 16 Pro supports faster wire charging, up to 45 watts in some cases, and wireless charging is also a bit faster on the 16 Pro, but the battery life itself is almost identical. So I'm not trying to say that there's no changes to this phone, but I feel like what Apple did with the 15 series, like rounding out the edges to make them more comfortable, adding that titanium frame, I just feel like this was a great iPhone generation, and you really wouldn't miss out on a lot if you went with the 15 Pro or 15 Pro Max instead of the 16 and 16 Pro Max, right? And you can actually get these phones for a much lower price today, refurbished from Apple, Amazon, Renew, depending on your location. You might be able to get it from a carrier. again at a discounted price. So to get this phone today for more or less the same price of the regular iPhone 16 base model, I honestly think it's a steal, and this phone can last you a long time, a bunch of software updates and all that Apple stuff. If you really need these new camera improvements in the camera capture button, then sure, go with the 16 Pro. But other than that, these phones not only look almost identical, but are actually pretty much just that in every other way as well. Video.